It has been a long time since I've filmed something for my YouTube channel, and in a perfect world, I would film consistently and on a regular, dependable basis, but that's not my gig, apparently. I've been busy over the past, really over the past 6, 7 months, just working and traveling for work. And right now, I have just finished my last teaching gig of the year that has asked me to travel. And I was in British Columbia in Kamloops, and I am now in Calgary for a week, visiting my brother and his family, and I'm off. I've got a full week off. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was just film something, just to put it up on the YouTube channel, just be able to offer something for all of you who look forward to me putting up something new and have been disappointed over the past, I don't know, half year, something like that. It's been a while. And I'm not going to talk for long, but what I did wanted to talk about, what I do want to talk about, is the concept of uncertainty rather. It'd be nice if I could pronounce it. Uncertainty versus certainty. And I think that it's a topic that we should be talking more about with each other. When I was in Kamloops this weekend, I was speaking to one of the directors of the yoga studio where I was teaching, who was talking to me about Gandhi's autobiography and had asked me if I had read it, which I haven't. And she told me that one of the most fascinating things about reading his autobiography was reading about how much doubt he had and how much uncertainty he had. And I suppose when you think about not just leaders, but people who sort of pioneer movements, doubt isn't something that you think they struggle with. It doesn't even sort of, I don't know, enter into the equation when we think about it. But that really resonated with me because I think that for all outward appearances, it might seem like I know exactly what I'm doing, and that the confidence is there. And listen, to a certain extent, yes, I do have a clear idea of what I'm doing, and I am like unerring in my mission to get this done and to keep getting it done, because I don't think I'll ever really be done in my pursuit of helping people facilitate or helping facilitate the journey for other people when they're going through rough moments, to help people heal, to offer hope, to be that glimmer of hope in a world that can often seem almost as dark as the room I'm in right now. By the way, it's noon. I'm just in a room with like a black curtain over the windows just because I need to get some rest. And yet, even with the certainty that I do have about what I'm doing career-wise, and the understanding that I'm actually simply letting something else move through me by getting out of its way so that it can do its work, because I understand that I am a vessel for that energy, I still have moments of second guessing. I still have moments of doubt. I think we all have moments of doubt. I think every single one of us battles between what is commonly referred to as the tension of opposites, being in the middle of two options, two choices, decisions that we could take. We could do this or that, and in many cases we battle between what the right thing to do is and what would feel good, what is right for others versus what is right for us. And I think that if anybody tells you that they don't struggle with that, with uncertainty and with doubt, then they're lying, either to us all or to themselves. What I believe is that we are meant to work with uncertainty, and we are meant to work with doubt, and we are meant to ask whether what we are unsure of is ultimately going to keep us stagnant or silent or afraid. Whether what we are afraid of actually validly is to be feared. You know, like I'm not going to jump off a bridge because I know that probably won't end well. or whether we are afraid of something, avoiding something, because ultimately we know that it is the path we need to go down, but it's going to require a lot of energy from us, maybe energy we don't have because we're already exhausted. We need to ask whether avoiding something is going to bring us where we want to be. Typically, fear leads to avoidance, and in most cases, avoidance leads to anxiety. And that's just a very clear path. It's a very clearly delineated path that very few are immune to. And so if we knew that avoidance would lead us to anxiety, would lead us into sort of a downward spiral where we wouldn't be able to accurately predict what the next stages of any given process would be, because our predictive abilities have been colored by fear and by anxiety, then wouldn't we want to just deal with something? Wouldn't the process of deciding between one half of a pair of opposites, wouldn't that decision be a little bit easier to make? Wouldn't we be a little bit more honest with ourselves about whether what we are uncertain about is actually for the greater good? That if we actually made a decision and had a gut instinct that it would bring us towards good, not just for ourselves, but for the people around us, potentially the world, wouldn't that make uncertainty a little bit easier? The way that I make decisions is ultimately asking myself whether I will be growing from these decisions or not. Will they be bringing me forward or not? Will they be keeping me paralyzed with fear or not? I'm a risk taker. I think that where there is fear, in most cases, there is probably something I'm supposed to learn from. And over the past couple of years, I've tested that theory over and over and over again. And in, 99% of cases, I'm better off for those risks I took. And that has brought me into a new relationship with uncertainty and with doubt. Understanding that it's part of the equation, that our minds will always gravitate towards the negative by default, and that ultimately it is up to us to decipher whether what we deem as negative is really negative or whether it isn't, whether it's something that we are meant to move towards, and the human brain's affinity towards stability is simply what is making us nervous. I want you to know that everybody wavers, and I want you to know that everybody is unsure of themselves at one point or another, consistently or not. Ultimately, I believe that when we go quiet, like I'm doing right now in this room when I stop talking, we begin to find the path towards the right decision for us and ultimately for others. So I would have you potentially ask yourself what your relationship with uncertainty is. Do you tend to just jump into things without thinking about repercussions and sink or swim? Or do you obsess over decisions to the point that you actually never make any? Set an intention so that the next time you have a decision to make, and that may be in 5 minutes from the time you hear these words, that you will ask whether either of the choices you have will bring you to a better place or not, bring others to a better place or not. Will the result of the decision you take be deemed good or pleasant, knowing that ancient Hindu sages believed that what was pleasant for the individual alone, and that what was good for the collective? Ask yourself if the decision that you take will bring you forward or not. And ultimately understand that we will all make bad decisions, and that is not an accident. We are meant to make bad decisions so we learn. Good luck with those decisions.